have to be an admin for it to be able to go live?
Yes, I
You
think
do.
so. We'll have to check.
Okay,
Okay,
I don't know if any of our members have actually had a live feed from this.
Oh, I think we're going, Kerri.
Are we? Yay. Are we live? Yay. This is cool. Yes, I think it's working. Patty's there. Yes. Oh, okay, good. I'm gonna turn off my phone. It looks like Patty Kingsley's watching, and we're gonna start in about 2 minutes. And so I just thought I'd give everybody a chance to log in and see if all the technology is working. Is it working, Jenny?
It's working. Malia!
Nice. Hi, ladies. I miss everybody so much. I had 3 days in here where I didn't go to the house. And I got to tell you, that was really challenging for me. I know many people who are part of our network are community people and social butterflies, and it's been certainly has been a challenge. So when Jenny had this idea of coming together and just having some chats and sharing some ideas, I thought it was a really, really good idea. So we'll wait a minute before we introduce our special guest expert, Kelly. For those of you who don't know us, my name's Kerri King, and this is Jenny Santos. And we started up the Durham Women's Network about a year ago. And it's been really amazing to see how it's really grown over the last year. And we were so lucky to be able to have our quarterly meetups before all of this happened. And we had a wonderful retreat in the fall, and we had more meetups planned, but obviously with what's going on right now, we've been able to connect, I think, more than ever through the network and just through communications with everyone. So it's just about 7:30. Jenny, do you want to jump in there?
I do. I'm so excited because it's always interesting when something disruptive like this happens, and it makes everybody rethink how to connect, how to do business. And out of all the challenges that we've had, and we were just talking about this before we went live, there's been a lot of challenges. There's a lot of, alone time, and it's hard, but you forget you can use technology to tap in and to get together as a community, or you can learn from an expert like Kelly. And so we wanted to set up this series of chats, and hopefully it'll turn into a more regular thing where we can showcase some of the brilliant women in Durham and what they're doing. How can they help? What can you learn from them? Like, there's so many great women. So Kelly is here with us today. Kerri's going to introduce Kelly because she's known Kelly for a long time. And
I have.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Kelly for the last, I think, year and a half now, and I adore her already.
Yes. So, okay, good evening, everybody who's still joining us. It's just after 7:30, and we're here to have, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes of just a chat to talk about finance and to talk about the different states that people are in right now and the different challenges that people are encountering, whether it be that they've may have been laid off, their businesses may have had to shut the doors. And there's been a lot of anxiety, I know, and fortunately we have a government that has stepped up in so many ways, and it's certainly helped, but I know there's still challenges. And we thought, when Jenny had the idea of putting together an evening where we get together online for half an hour or so, and have a tea or have a glass of wine if you like, and just kind of get together, we would be able to come together and try to discuss some of the challenges together as a group. I know that we do that a lot just through sharing different posts that we see coming up. And that's been wonderful, seeing how so many women, almost 4,000 women in Durham region, have been able to come together on one platform and really support one another. And it just fills my heart to know that we have been a part of building this community. So it's been a great honor. And, I think I'm really lucky because I've had some incredible women in my life that have mentored me and that have stood up for me. And Kelly Melanson is one of them. Whether it's good times or challenging times, I'm really fortunate, and I know many of you are, to have some very intelligent, strong, powerful, beautiful women in your lives. And Kelly is one of them in mine. She's a CPA. She's a chartered professional accountant. Yes. She's been in business for 26 years in Durham region, and she's also been my accountant and has been generous enough to help us as a volunteer setting up the Durham Women's Network accounting and stuff when we first started doing a few events that involved an exchange of money. So we always go to Kelly when we have any questions. And I know I've had a lot of people in my life saying to me, well, how do I qualify? Maybe because I was working in government or because I'm in business, but what can we do? What are the resources out there that are available to people? And there's new legislation coming up all the time. And so we thought maybe Kelly could just come on and talk a little bit about the different programs. And so welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
So today I just kind of want to do a summary and give as much info as I can. But I do know everybody's situation is different, so I can't possibly hit on every single situation. But there's going to be like a group of people that were employees, and let's discuss sort of what's out there for them. And then there's a group of us that are self-employed, and even the ones that are self-employed, there's different groups. There's, your sole proprietors, there's your corporations, there's some with payroll, some not with payroll. So there's a lot of different programs depending on all these situations. So I'm going to try and sort of, speak about it in a way that people can at least walk away and go, okay, this is great, because I didn't realize that, So the first thing I want to talk about is just individuals. There's a lot of different things out there right now. I think a lot of you know that there was a HST extra little bonus out there that some people got between the $400 and $600 range. I think that went in people's bank accounts. I'm going to say almost the second week or third week of March, maybe it was in first week of April, but anyway, it was around $400 to $600 of HST tax credit. The other thing that's going to be coming is the bump up for childcare. There's going to be an extra $300 per child coming. So that's kind of a nice little thing.
Can I just jump in there, Kel?
Yeah.
So are there any stipulations around that childcare benefit?
Yes. So if you don't qualify for childcare benefits, then you're not going to get this. This is if you're already qualifying for childcare benefits, that you'll get this bump up, the increase. Okay. So it's an increase. It's not like it's a gift, like, oh, this is extra, whether you get it or not, it's just an increase. They're also temporarily going to top up low-income essential workers' salaries. So I understand that's going to be, your frontline workers, and it might even extend to people that work in grocery stores. But again, there's a little bit of information on that yet, so that's coming. And then there's also, where you can defer your mortgage and extra time to, I don't want to say file your taxes, because I realize we're going to be in tax season in May. This has never happened in 26 years, and I'm really not looking forward to it. I got to be honest. I'm used to being on a golf course in May, not doing taxes. But I say get them done as soon as you can, because if you owe tax, it's not due until September 1st. So why wait? Just get them done and out of the way, right?
Yeah, and if you're going to get a credit, then you get it now.
Well, exactly. And if you have child tax benefits coming in, you want that to be adjusted, as soon as possible, right? Because I believe that gets changed in June. So you don't want to be waiting in May. So then, you're still going to get it, but it could be a delay, right? So you might as well just, keep getting your taxes done as you normally would, right? I guess today's April 30th, and there's a few accountant friends that were emailing me saying, well, normally we would say congrats, it's April 30th, but I guess we can't
you're
really
done, but today, now you're not done.
There is definitely a feeling of relief having it done.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to get it out of the way.
And just for anybody who's watching that has any questions, would it be okay if they post them? Jen, are you able to see them on your feed?
Yeah, I can definitely watch for questions. And when questions come up for Kelly, I can jump in and Kelly can answer your questions. from the stream.
I'm just
So
going to put a headphone in so I can hear a little better without blaring my computer here. So
Yeah,
the
and I
other
know
thing,
Patty Kingsley was joining, I think, and she's an artist. She's an independent business. So, you know, you know, she may have questions. A lot of people that have their own businesses, you know, this is affecting them in a big way. So we want to make sure that, you know, I mean, first of all, knowing what's available,
Mhm.
you know, through the government, but also how we as an incredible group of women can support one another and make sure that when you're going to do business that, you know, that you try to do it locally whenever you
For
can.
sure.
Support those local businesses. And I know it's
Mhm.
happening, and it's amazing to see all the different municipalities that are doing that, whether it's the different restaurant programs. And I know in Whitby, the caremongers are supporting one another. And I think if we, as a group of almost 4,000 women, think about how we can support each other, we
Mhm.
can have a pretty big impact, you
For
know,
sure.
pretty
Mhm.
powerful.
For
So
sure.
back to you, Cal.
No, that's okay. That's great. So yeah, the only other thing I wanted to mention was the CERB. So, you know, maybe Patty is a sole proprietor, and if a sole proprietor doesn't have payroll, then they don't qualify for the $40,000 interest-free loan. And a lot of sole proprietors, you know, some of them don't, some of them do, but there are some other programs I will talk about. But for the CERB, you just have to be very careful that you did have, you know, 5,000 in income in the last 12 months, and also that you can make up to 1,000. And for a self-employed individual, that's net income. So that's your gross minus your expenses, and that's your net. You can make up to 1,000. And again, you have to be very careful here too, because I'm going to say that audits are going to be happening a lot when it comes to all this funding. And so you want to make sure your expenses are true business expenses and not inflated to get down to that $1,000. But once you hit that 1,000, then you can apply for CERB as well. So that's kind of for the sole proprietor, no employees. And same with employees, you know, that have been laid off, they can also all apply for the CERB as well, right? But I think the biggest thing is, and there are qualifications on canada.ca, sorry, if you just go under individuals, under COVID-19, you'll see all the different benefits there. But I think the challenging part is really the smaller businesses, and they feel that, you know, the government really hasn't helped them tremendously. I mean, if you're a corporation or you have salary, then, you know, there's, you know, the 40,000, there's the wage subsidies, which I'll talk a little bit about, but, you know, I find the smaller businesses are struggling. Now, I do know BDC, there is another program that will offer financing, and it's BDC. I think finance is 80% and your bank finance is 20%. And they're saying that they're qualifying people that typically wouldn't qualify for a business loan, and they're actually qualifying them for loans. Now, I haven't been able to really dig into all, you know, this information. I don't have really a lot of clients going after that program. It doesn't really say that you have to be incorporated. It just says it's to help you with operational cash flow. So it is another option for those that don't fall to get the $40,000 loan interest-free. They can actually go and try and get some maybe money from the BDC to help them. And I know the first year it's interest only, and I think it's 4.55% interest, and I think they get 1.75 off that for the first 3 years. I'd want to maybe double check those numbers, but I think that's what they're offering. And I've had some clients that have gotten 100, 150,000. Like, it's to really cash flow them for the next couple of years, because the problem is some industries are going to be impacted a lot longer than others. So travel is one of them. So if you deal with, you know, corporate travel, and I mean, gosh, I don't even know when people are going to start to feel safe getting on a plane or a boat, or, you know, that industry is really going to, you know, need some cash flow for the next few years in order to survive. So I would highly recommend that. Even for the young sole proprietor, I mean, they don't need that much, 100,000. Who knows? I don't even know. Some sole proprietors, I'm thinking if they need that much, they should probably look at incorporating. But anyway, that's another day, another topic. But
did you have a question, Jenny, come through?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions that have just come in. which is great. One of the questions from Patty Kingsley, she wrote it on her wall here. She's wondering if Kelly can speak to what are the benefits of not, like, why would you not go through the mortgage relief? Let me see if I can get the exact wording.
The mortgage payment deferral?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me speak to that. Let me just quickly, like, it went down. So many comments.
Oh, goody. Are people actually watching?
Yes.
We're not just having a conversation.
The way she worded it. But she's kind of looking at, well, you know, what are the benefits of not applying for that mortgage deferral? Like at the end of it.
I'm just going to give you my opinion on that. Honestly, you see so much in the news, right? It's, oh, why would you defer your mortgage payments? You know, it's just going to be an interest on interest, and all these comments and number crunchers out there saying, well, if you know, here's the bottom line. This is what I think of. If you're in a situation right now and you are struggling,
yeah,
why worry about all of that? Just defer your 6 months.
Yeah.
Get you through 6 months. You know, it's a matter of survival at this point. You know, for some people, it's not about, well, gee, is the amortization going to change? Is the interest going to be on interest? Is like, what's going to, you know, I would say, unless it's really drastic, yes, number crunch always, but if you need to survive and do as much as you can to do that right now, to feel a little bit more peaceful and not, you know, in that fight and flight mode constantly, because I know that's happening, I would say defer it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I just, for peace of mind,
Totally.
like, why not? Because
Yes.
people are getting so stressed out, and if you don't have to put yourself in that position, yes, it's better if you can pay down your equity quicker, or that you don't, you know, gang that up. But if people have been laid off or their businesses are closed, like, there's going to be options, and I think that's a good one.
I think so too.
Even if it's not the full period, but maybe month by month, they may defer it. I'm
going to talk a little bit more about how to look at the expense side of your life, but I'll do that near the end. But that is definitely one that is very important because you're offering it. So why not? Why not take it, you know?
Did you have any other questions, Jenny?
I did.
I don't know if that answers Patty's question or not.
Patty commented back and she said, you know, fair comment. And I think definitely a good answer to explain why would one go that route? That's why, definitely. I'm trying to find the other question from Patty because it's disappearing on me here. Trying to get, there's a lot of comments, which is wonderful. But
I got my dog Scarlett here too. She's here. Just so that she won't bark.
I can't get back to the previous comments. So if Patty, I'm so sorry, I can't get your second question. So if you can, like, copy and paste it, I'll read it off and I'll interrupt right away. We just had like a bunch of comments that just kind of knocked everything down to the bottom and I can't get down there now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Patty, for sure. So the other thing about CERB, though, you want to be careful of is that a lot of people have applied that probably shouldn't have. And, you know, it's created a bit of a monster. So you have people that might receive money that is on a cash base. So let's take a real estate agent, for instance. So let's say their last closing was before COVID, but it closes like throughout, say, March to April, May, you know. I had to really be clear for some that the thing is when you receive that, that's income to you in that time, right? It's not that you earned it before and it's just flowing in now. So at first it was, you know, really difficult for people to wrap their head around that because they're saying, yeah, but I earned that before COVID, but it doesn't matter. That's what they're going to be looking at. Like, did you earn over $1,000 during this time? Now, if you were, say, a commission person, and let's say your commission sales were February, paid in March, and you can show them that, right? Like that's like your payroll was maybe on the 14th last pay date, but you were paid, you know, on the 16th, you know. If you earned income in that time, it's considered that you've earned income. So there's no accrual when it comes to individuals, like it is when you receive it, that's when it's income, you know? The other questions I got a lot of is, well, the commission one,
I do have Patty's last question.
Okay.
Can I jump in? And I hope I'm getting this right. She's saying, is the 1,000 additional income, is that retroactive for CERB?
Yes, back to March 15th.
Okay.
So if you want to go back and apply to that block, you just have to make sure you didn't make over $1,000.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Any other questions there, Jenny?
So Patty just said, let's see. Okay. I'm opening it up to any additional questions. If anybody has anything, or Kelly, if you have anything else extra that you want to add, because definitely I'm interested with the kids piece. So if you're able to get like extra on the childcare benefit, is that taxable? Like, because I know a lot of the other benefits are taxable, right? So next year it's going to be
no, the child tax benefits would not be, the HST would not be, no, but the CERB is. And that's the thing people are missing out too, is if you're getting $2,000 a month, and let's say you already made, you know, a fair chunk of money January up to March, and let's say you do go back, say, hopefully May, middle of May, end of May, June, and you make another good chunk of money, you've got to remember that $2,000 was not taxed. They did not withhold any money. So you have to know what your tax bracket is and make sure you put that away.
Right.
And the other thing maybe, I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but the business one, the 40,000. So that's 40,000, but only 30,000 has to get paid back.
Right. So let's finish off with the CERB, and then I'm going to go into that one. So the problem now with the CERB is there's a lot of people that are making $2,000 a month that never made that before. And so what's happening now is they're saying they're going to start opening up the economy. And I have clients, let's say, that are essential workers anyway. And their staff are like, I'm not coming back. I make $2,000 a month. Why would I come back to work? So there is a little bit of a problem there. And I have heard they're going to start to restructure it. They should have to start restructuring this to get people back to work. Because, you know, I don't know. It's created, like I said, a monster.
I even heard people say that like some young kids say, well, I'm going to quit my job at Walmart because I can stay at home and still make $2,000 a month.
And the problem is you don't qualify for CERB if you voluntarily quit your job. So this is where all the audits are going to happen. And then they're going to do, you know, they're going to find out. And I mean, I think for some people mistakenly they might have, and it's an honest mistake, but I think they're going to know those honest mistakes versus the not honest mistakes. And there's going to be some pretty hefty fines. So I would say, watch out, you know. So, and now they've opened it up to disability, and you know, the people that are on disability, it's not considered income. So you're okay. If you've earned $5,000 and all the other things still apply, but you know, some people on disability might think, woohoo, I get another $2,000 a month. And that's not what it is. It's, if you are only on disability, then you don't qualify because you haven't made $5,000. You know, beyond the disability amount that you're getting, because disability, they're saying, is not going to be included as income. So if you say you still had maybe, because there's people that are on disability and still can do some work, right? So if, as long as they earn up to $1,000, then they can still qualify for the CERB. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things that flush out from this, but I just hope that, you know, they do start to change it a bit. Like for the ones that were employees and were earning, you know, more than $2,000, of course, they're going to be ready to go back to work because they make more money. But the ones that aren't, I think something's going to have to happen there, but we shall see. They might just cut it off altogether, right? I don't know. I don't even know what will happen. So the 40,
I have another question.
yeah.
May I interrupt?
Yes.
So question from our group: if people are off on declared emergency leave and are receiving more now than before, do they have to return the extra that they're receiving? So just like in the case of, I'm just trying to think how that would look.
If they're earning more now being on CERB than if they were working full time, no, No, and that's the problem, is because they are earning more at home. And so why go
Yeah.
back to work, right?
But
No,
they
they don't
won't
have to pay it back. No, no,
extra.
no, 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 no. As long as they're in the guidelines and they're only making like, let's say they made $1,001.
Yeah.
Then they're going to be in trouble.
So like, for example, like young people who earned a certain amount and then are ordered off, ready to return, but can't, do they have to remit the difference?
As long as they're in the proper thresholds, they do not have to return any CERB money.
Okay.
If they go over that 1,000 threshold, they have to then return it. Yes. Because then they're not in that $1,000 income threshold.
What if I heard of somebody was in between jobs. They had left the one job. They were about to start the other job. They hadn't actually gone on the payroll, but they'd been hired. They were in between. So it's like a gray area.
No, because if they earned $5,000 in the other job, in the last 12 months, if they earned $5,000, they would qualify.
They would qualify regardless if they left the one job and they were going to another job.
Oh, because it's voluntary that they left the other job and they were about to
because
start another one?
they got another job. Yeah.
Well,
But
I
they
think
didn't
they
get
could
to
probably
start the other job.
Right. And I think they could probably prove that. They could probably get a letter from that employer saying, yes, they did hire them, but due to COVID, they had to lay them off. So, and they didn't really have to lay them off because they hadn't really started. So I do believe Trudeau did talk about that. So I think they would be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
It seems like everything is changing day to day.
But
At the beginning, it was hour to hour.
How is the government going to have enough staff to monitor and audit all these people?
Oh, Trudeau will hire a bunch of auditors. They were already on that bandwagon. They just got off it for a little while. They'll get back on it and that'll be included.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there'll be lots.
Does that mean next year's tax season's going to be a little hectic, busy?
Yeah, well, it's not even tax season. It's usually, all year round. Those audits will be coming, right? So let's talk about that 40,000 because that's a huge audit that's going to be on the table, as well as the wage subsidies. They're supposed to be starting audits actually really soon on those ones, but the $40,000, a lot of businesses, again, kind of like the CERB, everybody just tapped into it, right? And they're like, oh, bonus, I don't have to pay it back until 2022. And, this is great. And some companies might have already been in, say, a lot of debt. Okay. And they maybe were barely surviving before COVID, right? And I would think some of them probably applied for this 40,000. I know with my clients, I definitely gave them the Riot Act for some of them, right? Because it wasn't to pay old debt. And it's clearly states, like this $40,000, you better have accountability for it. And it better not be for old debt. Like it's to pay rent, it's to pay utilities, it's to pay property taxes, and wages. It's so you can keep operating even though income has dropped, right? And that's the other thing. Your income had to have dropped 15% in March, 30% in April, and 30% in May. So now I know some of my clients were discussing about deferring the invoicing. I said, don't you dare. I said, because they're not stupid, And so the thing is you cannot make it drop, in other words, okay? And there was two ways of looking at income testing, and that was March to this year, March to last year, or you had to take January, February, add them together, divide by 2 to get your average, and then how much did you drop for March and how much did you drop for April? So I would say most businesses that literally were like shut down probably would have dropped a great deal. So they would be fine at the income test. But there were essential businesses that, if anything, some of them even flourished because they got into doing, some PPE stuff or, so, they definitely didn't drop. So the 40,000 wasn't like, oh, yay, 20,000 in payroll. Boom, I'm going to go grab that. You had to have, sorry, I'm confusing the wage subsidy with the 40,000. I apologize. That was the wage subsidy. I was talking about the 15% drop and the 30% drop for April and May. Sorry about that. I will get back to that. So the 40,000, was only for if you had 20,000 in payroll, but a lot of people were still going after that thinking that they could, buy equipment or it could, fund their increase maybe in management wages or, stuff like that. And again, it was for rent, utilities, property tax. It was for your operating expenses to be able to survive, hire back if you could. They were really hoping that you would hire back, get them off the EI or the CERB. And but if you couldn't, that's okay. But it was to help you, with your business moving forward. Now, the wage subsidy is the income test, sorry. So that is where a lot of people are saying, all right, 75% of my payroll is going to be paid by, the government. This is fantastic. But again, that income had to have dropped 15%, 30%, and 30%. And that's the one that's going to be highly audited, because a lot of people are going to make it look like they've dropped to get a lot of their payrolls met, because most people that are in that type of payroll are essential businesses that, yes, they might have dropped some, but again, like I said before, a lot of those businesses could be making a lot more right now. So that one's going to be highly audited, and the 40,000 I think is going to be highly audited.
But
so,
Kelly, don't you think for the most part, the people that are applying for that, or businesses that are completely closed, like for the most part, or is it people that are just seeing the, I mean, there's so many businesses with the doors closed.
Right, but and the 40,000 one is as long as they had the 20,000 payroll. If they applied for it and it's to help them open those doors, to keep the business afloat, that's okay. But it's not to grab it and then pay old debt that you had prior to COVID.
I was just talking to somebody the other night, and they said, oh, I got my 40K and I paid off all my debt.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody told me that. And I was like, oh, I thought it was for like paying your rent and paying your staff.
It is.
So like if they get audited and they see that you
so
just took the money and paid off your debt.
Well, this is the thing. They have said there'll be heavy fines. I've even seen jail time. So I have no idea. I think every situation will be different. But I know some people say, well, can I throw it into marketing? Can I throw it? And I mean, I think if you start needing to market in a different way for your business to survive, I don't see that as a problem. But if they see that you've cleared up all this old debt, then that's going to be a problem for sure. That's going to be, and I think what will happen is they will not get that 10K forgiven.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe they'll ding them with the interest. I don't know at this point, until the audits start happening. All I know is you have to make sure that you don't spend it on prior, that everything is about moving forward and surviving, and moving forward. So
that sounds like the takeaway of it all, like looking forward and next steps. We don't know what the new normal is going to look like.
Yep. Yeah. And the other thing is they cannot pay any of that back until January 2021. I've heard that if they do, they won't get the 10K. So again, you have to hang on to it. And I mean, most will probably use most of it anyway, but at least try and get it paid by 2022 December. So then you get the 10K, right? So I think for businesses that are honestly trying to, make it work and keep afloat and, move forward and look at new ways of marketing and maybe, more technology will be needed and things like that, I think they'll be fine, but you're always going to have these people that think this is a gift from the government, and it's definitely not. So,
and I know too that even this gift from the government is still not enough in many cases. And I think, that's where it's so great to see so many people really being mindful about supporting each other, whether it's porch drops or making sure that we support each other's local businesses, or just being there and just being there for one another. I think that's been a big thing. I think
really brainstorming with them.
Yeah,
that's where like you guys come in and really shine for this DWN, because I think helping people become virtual. Like I've had some clients that have opened up a virtual part of their business. They've gone virtual. And I said to them, it's so exciting because it's a new revenue stream and they don't never have to take it away. And they're global. Like I said, think about it. People can tap into you now globally, where before they had to drive to your location. So you were just regional, like Durham region, that's it. So I said, and most people would be within that region to go there. I said, you're global. I said, so this has really got people thinking outside the box. And this is the thing, like, there are so many things right now that you can really, like, not everything. I will be honest. I mean, I know tattoo parlors, okay, like, permanent makeup, things like that. I would never do that myself or watch a video. I mean, let's face it, there's no way, right? They have to go back to work. They're going to have
Hair
to reopen.
salons?
Hair salons.
I need my
You
hair
know,
salon.
I have heard
back.
I've heard some doing tutors online, but no, restaurants, I know there's takeout, but let's face it, we love to go out and have a drink and socialize, and that's going to come back.
Missed
But
it.
retail,
I just got a great
Jenny's
comment.
questions.
Not a question.
Yeah.
One comment, and I think that this is a good comment to probably end the conversation on too. From the wonderful Patty Kingsley. Her comment is, it's time for creativity to flourish.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that, I know that Kelly, you touched on a little bit about, people using this time as an opportunity to digitize their businesses. Or I know for me, we've done that a lot at the gallery. We're digitizing our permanent collection, where our curator is creating a lot of his lectures so they can be shared online. We're doing our whole rebrand. There's a lot of things that we're doing that we wouldn't have had the same amount of time to do. But I know on a personal level, just having more time at home, I've been able to do a lot of online training, and whether it's like training for work, different programs that I want to learn about, but also even personally, I've been, my yoga studio has gone online, and so I'm doing my classes, and people say, well, you can get free classes. I'm like, yeah, you can get free classes online on YouTube. But I want to make sure that when the doors open, or that we can go out again, that my yoga studio is still going to be there. So I pay the $50 a month, so that not only so I can do the class, but so that I can support my local business. That's really, really important. And I've also been doing a challenge, an online challenge, like weight training, that is just available by donation through an amazing woman called Thundra. And I'm just using this time to get in really good shape, and so I think if all of us can just say, like, how can we turn this challenge and this time where there's so many unknowns into an opportunity to connect in other ways? I think it would be
absolutely
great. So Kelly, thank you so very
much.
One
last thing I just want to say
yes.
One last thing, I just have to say this. So when you're looking at your costs, right? I know I talked about budgets before, but when you're looking at things, this is a great time to really be going through all your costs. And one thing I want to mention is insurance for cars. I don't know if anyone knows this. They're now putting it on the commercial, but I did this back in March. I emailed my insurance company right away and said, what kind of discounts can I get? Because I'm no longer commuting, right? So just really tap in cell phones, look at your plans, see what you can do differently, because, you might actually be paying more because you're talking more on cell phones than you normally would. So just different things just to look out for is your expenses while you're doing your budgets. There's a lot of ways to cut. So just want to say that.
Those are really great tips, Kelly. I know I just went on the phone with Belle and got my bill cut down and got unlimited because my friend at work said, why don't you have unlimited? Just get on. But it's the time where you can look at your budgets, you can look at your household expenses, see where you can cut down, see where you can, you're not using as much gas half the time, anything else you want to add, Jenny, before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say thanks to Kelly. She's so kind and lovely. And I'm so glad that we've had an opportunity to work with her and just learn from her. Because what I know is this kind of stuff really confuses me a lot of the time. So I like the way that Kelly explains things in a way that's really easy to understand. And if I can understand it, then I'm like, okay, we're good. But I love how this is going to be an opportunity. I hope we can do this again and bring other friends on and talk, because I think this is a good way to stay connected. And again, if there's any suggestions, or if you are interested in connecting with us, send us a note, an email, or a DM, and let us know. If you have any questions for Kelly after this, leave them in the comments and we'll make sure to get them to Kelly too. Because the thing is, we want to make sure that we're helping all our members. And if we can get the answers for you, then we know that we're helping. Just every little bit counts. So it's nice to connect, even if it's virtually.
Yeah,
for sure.
So anyway, great to see all of you guys. If you have any ideas of other topics you think we could talk about and share about, feel free to post that. And I hope all of you are doing really well, and sure looking forward to the time where we can all gather together again in community and have a glass of wine together and have some nibbles together at one of our meetups. And so hopefully that'll happen this summer, and fingers crossed, and hope everybody stays very well, safe and happy and healthy. Stay connected. Cheers.
Right. Cheers, everyone.
Scarlett says bye.
Bye.
Bye.